So you've got a well sitting next to your driveway, and you're concerned about somebody hitting it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about wells near driveways and ways that you can protect your well. But first, we have to look at the actual well itself. We can see here that we have our good old steel casing, PVC conduit, and a two-piece lid. If we look to the left, we see a driveway very close to the well. The problem with this, especially on a hill like this one where it kind of slopes down, is you run the risk of somebody who's not paying attention hitting the well, especially in the winter. As you can see by my coat, it's cold out. The winter is here, and you need to start thinking about snow and ice. Snow and ice is something that you're going to come across quite often in the northern area. You probably also come across it a bit in the south, but it's more common up here. When you have a hill with a driveway, get a nice layer of ice on it, guess what the car's going to do? The car's going to slide. And if you happen to put a well on the outer bend of that driveway, they're probably going to hit it. So we need to talk a little bit about ways to protect it and what can happen. What I usually recommend is to get a big rock. Put a big rock right in front of it. That way if somebody does slide down the hill, they hit your rock instead of your well. If you're struggling to figure out where to get a rock, sometimes you might get lucky in a large open area like this, where you might actually have just natural rocks, wild, I know, just sitting around ready for you to pick up and move towards the well. Sometimes what people can also do, especially if you have like a wooded area like this one, is you can take a bench and put that bench right around the well itself. It'll give you a nice little sitting area where you can relax, maybe have a cup of tea by your water source. But if somebody slides down the hill, they're more likely to hit this than they are your actual well itself. Major delivery outlets tend to smack wells all the time. Usually what happens is they put somebody who's not as experienced driving a large vehicle behind the wheel, and they start backing up or trying to turn around, and all of a sudden your well is smacked. Especially around here, because if you're not in a floodplain, your well's only required to be 8 inches above the surface. 8 inches is not that tall. So if you can't see it, you're more likely to smack it. Now, some of the larger vehicles, you might be able to miss it, but if the tire hits it, or if you have a lower van like one of the Amazon vans, you have a problem where that bumper might tap it. The good news about a steel casing like this one is you kind of have to hit it pretty hard to break the casing. You're more likely to break that PVC conduit, easier to fix, still not fun, but if you have a PVC cased well, not going to be a great time. Well casings come in a variety of shapes and sizes. So generally speaking, you're going to see a steel cased. That's more common in our area, but alternatively, you'll also see a PVC cased. Those are more common, at least in Maryland, on the eastern shore. You might find some of them scattered around closer to Baltimore, but further out in the mountains you get, usually you're going to see steel cased. The steel, like I said, is more resistant to getting smacked, but you have your problems with corrosion and pitting and holes forming on the casing itself. PVC, more resistant to the corrosion and pitting, less likely to get holes, but you smack it with a lawnmower, guess what? Now that pipe's broken, and you got some problems, and you got bacteria and all sorts of stuff on the surface getting into your well. Another thing that people sometimes will do to hide the well and make it a little bit safer is to get railroad ties just like this. As you can see, you have the ties sat across the driveway, and you can put something like a pot or a cover over top of the well. In this particular circumstance, that's not a cover. That's just the inside of a flower pot. So it's just kind of sitting there, but it makes a great example. So you can put your railroad ties or any piece of wood, maybe a fence, put something around the well so that way you're more likely to hit the wood. What I'm getting at with this, and I hope you're starting to understand, is just put a barrier between the driveway and the well, and you'll probably be okay. If all of that sounds more tedious than you want to deal with, another thing you could consider doing is get those little orange sticks that you see for snow. Maybe get one that's got a little reflector on it. Just go ahead, put it right there next to it. It gives you a little bit more of a opportunity for that particular driver to see where the well's at and hopefully not hit it. The next thing you want to do is put a camera on the corner of your house facing the well. If you know that your well is by the driveway, if you know that somebody could potentially hit it, at least get video evidence. I cannot tell you how many times I've had clients that have tried to get some of the major delivery services to pay for the repair of their well after their vehicle hit the well, and they say, hey, no proof, we're not fixing it. Having a camera pointed directly at the well may sound stupid. Nobody's going to mess with your well, so like you don't have to worry about people like putting stuff in there. But if somebody does happen to smack your well, having video evidence of it makes it way easier to get that insurance claim and get that particular company to pay for your well casing. In our state, the only person who can touch a well casing is a well driller, right? So there's not that many of them. It's a good industry, but there's not that many well drillers around. A plumber is not technically allowed to touch the casing. Your state might be different. Your rules may be different. Some plumbers will still touch the casing, but they're not technically supposed to. All of that being said, I wanted to make a real quick video because one of my clients, he happened to have his well smacked twice in the course of 3 weeks. One was his friend that was leaving at night, didn't see it, hit it. It was not pleasant for him because it destroyed the pipe. They get it fixed. Following weekend, another delivery driver backed right into it, destroyed the whole thing. So that guy ended up spending about $2,100 getting his well fixed in about a month because it kept getting hit. And eventually he took some of these advices and what he did was he took some of my advice and put a wooden beam around the well to prevent people from smacking it. Hopefully this helps you if you're trying to come up with ideas of ways to hide your well from rogue vehicles that might smack it. If you have a well that's near a driveway, leave a comment. How did you hide your well from the car so that way it doesn't get destroyed? Anywho, I have videos posted every day on the World of Well and Septic. Look forward to talking to you guys later.